Welcome to the vault. I am the Keeper of Keys, Kraz, and I'm here to show you one of the most powerful decks in my collection, and I will be opening it up and showing the cards now. This deck basically contains the things that matter the most to me in pretty much any Keyforge deck, which is board clear. Although I don't have library access, it does have board clear, it has amber, stopping, and forging for the key outside of my key forging step. So, makes this deck considerably powerful because it really has 3 of the 4 key abilities inside the game, which I believe is library access, forging outside your forge step, and stopping your opponent from forging keys, and board clear. So here we go. We're going to start this deck with Way of the Wolf. Oh, by the way, the name of this one is Grey Wendelin of the Wasteland. We have Untamed, Mars, and Shadow. So, Way of the Wolf. This is a somewhat interesting upgrade because it can upgrade a creature. Not a card I'm super excited about, but it does give an amber. Telega. Now this is a card I really like. This basically means that if my opponent wants to play cards, play any of their creatures, I'm going to get amber unless they clear this off the board. Niffle Ape. Good card for clearing my opponent's creatures that are next to either taunt or are elusive, so I do like this one. Snufflegator. This is good to attack with. Easy, good card for also clearing opponents. Big Twig. This is also a pretty good card. Very strong. You reap, you stun them, then you attack them. Very, very good. It basically takes an enemy card out for 2 turns, and there's 2 Big Twigs in this deck. Troop Call. This brings back the Niffle Ape. Unfortunately, there's only 1 Niffle creature in this deck, so not as good as it could be, but you still get the amber from it, so decent card. Regrowth. This is fantastic because I can just bring my creatures back. I can get some of my most powerful creatures back on the board using Regrowth. Fantastic card. And there's 2 of them in this deck. Mimicry. This is another great card. If the enemy plays a super powerful creature, I can play Mimicry and drop their creature back on the board to face them. Great card. Oh, sorry. Is this the action card? That is a... Oh, sorry. It's an action card of the opponent. That actually makes the card even better. Sorry, it's not a creature copy. It's an action copy from their graveyard. Let's see. Copy, bait, and switch. Too much to protect. The list goes on and on and on. This is a great card. Life Web, another really good card. If they end up playing 3 or more creatures, which happens very frequently in this game, drop Life Web, steal 2 amber, gain 1 also for playing the card. Cooperative Hunting. This is good for just kind of pinging damage out there. Not a bad card at all because it goes off of friendly creatures, not just off of Untamed. And so now we go into Shadows. We've got Silvertooth, which is good. He comes into play ready, which means you can reap with him right off the bat. So he's either 1 free amber or a quick clear of something that doesn't have a lot of strength. Whoops. We also have Shadow Self in this deck. I love this card. It's fantastic. It's a great card to have. And there's 2 of them. Dodger. This is a fight steal card. Throw this next to Shadow Self, and he's certainly going to at least steal once, maybe twice. Another great card to have because you cannot damage Dodger without getting rid of Shadow Self. And there's 2 Dodgers in this deck. Old Bruno, another great card to play next to Shadow Self. Captures Amber. As soon as he comes on the board, I can stop a Keyforge with this, which is great. Seeker Needle, another nice one to ping damage and gain some amber when it kills things. It's great for taking out 1 strength creatures. Relentless Whisper deals 2 damage, and if it destroys that creature, I steal an amber, which is great. It also gives me an amber when I bring it into play. Poison Wave, 1 amber, and does 2 damage to everything. Great board clear for weak creatures. Pawn Sacrifice, probably one of the weaker cards in this deck. Although it is still a pretty good card. It's going to do 6 damage. It's going to gain 1 amber. Not a bad card at all. Lights Out, board removal for 2 enemy creatures. Great. Gain 1 amber. Nice card. Bait and Switch, one of the more powerful cards in the game. Along with pretty much anything that wipes out your opponent's amber. The difference is you get the amber with this one, unlike most of the other abilities. Great card. Really glad I have it in this deck. Now we're on to Mars. Z6 the Mini. This one's great because it lets you archive your cards, gain a bunch of power. This card ramps up rapidly and allows you to plan a turn with another house where you're going to dump a lot of those creatures onto the board. Really nice card to have. Yixel Dominator, another really good card. Unfortunately, it comes into the game stunned, but really powerful, really strong, and has taunt. Vezyama Think Drone. I really do like this one. Yet another archive card. If you have something that's close to dying, has a lot of damage on it, boom, clear it off the board. Put this next to a taunt creature, Shadow Self, those kind of things. And this is going to be a great card to have on the board. Ulix the Zookeeper. If they have something that's super dangerous, this is going to clear it off the board for me. I can just get rid of it, throw it in my archives. Yeah, they'll get it back eventually because I do have archive cards in here. I don't really like when you have both archive theirs and archive yours, but still a good card to clear things off the board. You can use it to clear things like Shadow Self and other things like that. There are some cards this would be great to get rid of. And there's 2 of them, of course. Grabber Jammer makes their keys cost more. Fight, Reap, capture 1. Good card to have in this deck. Also has armor. Invasion Portal. This is a fantastic card. I think a lot of people might underestimate how good this card is. You can basically bring all your Mars creatures on the board relatively rapidly if this remains on the board. And this deck has some really good Mars creatures to bring out. So it's a great card for this deck. Custom Virus. This is a board clear. It's fantastic to have a board clear. Now, of course, you have to clear a creature to do it. But it is an Omni. And you do end up purging a creature from your hand. But I could definitely see how, in the right circumstance, this is a great card. Compod, another really good card. So when you do use this one, you can basically ready a ton of your Mars creatures. You place them down, then reveal some Mars cards. You know, ready them all up, use their abilities, and there's some great abilities on the cards in this deck, so this is a really good card to have. Since it's an artifact, this is just going to stay on the board and just be a nightmare for your enemy. And it plays in well with cards like Mating Season. This one is going to grant you a ton of amber. You're going to bring your cards off the board, your Mars creatures off the board. You can also use it for a board wipe against their Mars, but you'll give them amber, so I probably wouldn't do that unless it was under certain circumstances. This could be a fantastic card, especially in conjunction with Key Abduction. This card right here is the Forge a Key Outside Your Step card that's in this deck. If you have a 6-card hand already, this card, when you play it, you're going to have 5 cards in your hand. Your key is going to end up costing +4. Using things like Mating Season, picking up your archive, or anything like that is going to basically make your key pretty cheap, and this deck has the stuff to allow it. Fantastic card to have. Battlefleet, another really good card in this deck. Because this deck doesn't have a lot of card draw, but this is a big card draw. Because it's Mars cards, so you build a large Mars hand, you play this, and you completely refill your hand with cards. You could do some pretty crazy stuff with this card. And that's this deck. Really nice deck. Really pleased with it. I'm really glad to have it. I look forward to reviewing more of my decks in the future, and have a great day.